Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tayler Henley. I am an enrollment management officer at Paul Quinn College. I'm also an alumna of the institution. So not only will you get the actual recruiter version of this, you will also get a lover of the institution because this is my home as well. So I'm going to get you guys involved a little bit. So it'll be a little bit different just because we're going to be with all counselors, but maybe this is a chance for the students to get to know you all a little bit better as well. So normally in a standard situation, this is kind of when I would get everyone involved and we would just go ahead and kind of talk to you guys and kind of give out some swag. But unfortunately, I will be unable to do that. So we'll kind of just make this interactive. So just a little bit about me. I am a fourth generation HBCU alumna. My paternal great grandmother actually went to Straight College, which is now Dillard University. My paternal grandfather went to Xavier University, and then my father went to Xavier University as well as his mother actually attended Houston-Tillotson in Austin, Texas. And then I have my maternal grandmother who actually went to Southern University in Baton Rouge, and then I have a mother who went to Dillard University in New Orleans. So HBCUs run deep within my bloodline, just even outside of, talking about my actual family, just with paternal and maternal sides. I've counted there are about 18 graduates from HBCUs that are just within my cousins, aunts, etc., that have attended. So very rich HBCU history for me. I am a lover of all things Mardi Gras. I am from New Orleans, Louisiana originally. And so literally our quote unquote Christmas, the most wonderful time of the year is carnival season for us. So as you guys see, I have a picture of myself and my sisters, and literally that is every day of Mardi Gras season. The week prior to Mardi Gras, there is an outfit for each day. So anything Mardi Gras related, I am there for it. Just a few of my favorite things. I love spending time with my family. That's my mom and my dad in the picture next to me and my sisters. And just having fun and making memories with them. I recently had a scare with my dad's health. And, it was one of those things where we nearly lost him, and we got a chance to really understand what it's like to have a family unit that really truly means something. So now spending time with family is a whole bigger thing now, just because of us almost losing him and us getting the chance to still have him around. So it is really great to have him. I love coffee. Any kind of cup of coffee you give me, I am going to drink it. And it can be literally just one stevia and a little bit of cream, and I'm perfectly good. Also, I love doing puzzles. I know, just a tad bit nerdy, but literally you can sit me down and I will literally sit there and do 1,000-piece puzzle and pretty much get it halfway done in about an hour and a half, 2-hour span. And then I'll come back to it, leave it, come back to it. Also, I enjoy indoor cycling. It has been very hard at this point, just because no gyms are really open due to COVID-19. So I have been kind of just figuring out how to live life without indoor cycling. But, I'm making it work and just doing outdoor walks. And we actually bought my mom a bike for her birthday. And I've been riding her bike more than she's riding her bike. So really fun times. And also the last thing is meeting prospective students. Like, as I said, I am an alumna of Paul Quinn College, and this place invested something in me when I was a student that I didn't quite know that was in me, as well as there were people that were cheering me on while I was a student that I didn't know why they were cheering me on. And it's now because they understood and they saw the potential that I actually had. After graduating, I spent 7 years in corporate America working in the insurance industry, and then I decided that I wanted to do something more gratifying, and then came back to the college in December. So I am new to this recruiting role, but at the same time, it's nothing like coming home and being able to talk to prospective students about your home. So that is a little bit about me. Now, normally I would have you guys drop in the chat about who you are, as well as, things that may be your favorite things. But since we are only presenting and I'm presenting to counselors, I'll let you guys do that in your class sessions with each other. So that is a little bit about me. And I hope you get a chance to make that personal connection with me as we move forward and talk a little bit more about Paul Quinn. So a little bit about our history. We were actually founded on April 4th, 1872 in Austin, Texas by a group of African Methodist Episcopal Church preachers. We basically were founded in Austin, but everyone knows us for actually being located in Waco. Now, we didn't actually move to Waco until 5 years after we were actually began. So it's a little funny when people actually find out that we were actually founded in Austin, but then they know us as a Waco, Texas starting school, but we were actually founded in the city of Austin, Texas. Then we actually moved, like I said, 5 years later in 1877 to Waco, Texas, which is the campus that you see there, as well as in 1990, we then actually have the campus that we are currently on right now. And we moved here and have been here ever since. So we are a private faith-based institution. As I stated, we were founded by AME preachers. Bishop Paul Quinn is actually one of the bishops in the AME church who we were named after. We are a liberal arts inspired college. So basically we are going to have, we are actually going to have majors such as business administration with concentrations on accounting, entrepreneurship, fundraising and philanthropy and management, which is the actual degree that I have from the college. We have our religious studies. As I stated, we were founded by the AME Church. So of course, they're going to have a religious studies major. We're also going to have our liberal arts majors, which includes teaching, which has an education, and it's going to be EC through 6th grade. We're going to have mathematics, psychology, history, and also communications. And then we also have our health and wellness, which is going to be a general overview of your health and science field. And then we also have legal studies, which would be if you were thinking about more of a criminal justice or actual pre-law program. In 2015, we became a model for higher education, which we will discuss more as we move forward. So who we are actually the oldest historically Black college west of the Mississippi. Our institutional ethos is the we over me. Now, what that basically means is the needs of the community supersede the wants of the individual. And this is basically in everything that we do. If you are familiar with kind of what Paul Quinn has been doing for the community during these times of COVID-19, we have had a free COVID testing site. We've also had a food drive-through where we are literally giving free boxes of produce giving produce as well as masks, I apologize, to different people in the community as they come through campus. That is still something that we are doing 1 day a week though, on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then from 10 a.m. until whenever the food runs out is how long we are actually giving the free boxes of produce on campus. So literally you get the chance to not only come onto campus, but you also get a chance to kind of see our new buildings and our renovations that are actually going on as well. As I stated, we did in 2015 become the nation's only urban work college model, which basically means is our students not only have the opportunity to have subject matter mastery through their major or through their degree plan, but also experiential mastery through a job that is applicable to their major. So we have different corporate sponsors that our students actually go into our corporate pipeline. Typically after their sophomore year, they actually enter the program their junior and senior years, typically spend 2 years in the corporate work program. And then 80% of our students actually typically graduate with an actual job from the work program job that they actually have when they do well. Our guiding principles. So we call these the 4 L's of Quinnite leadership. Leave places better than you found them. Leave from wherever you are. Live a life that matters and love something greater than yourself. That is something that literally lives within me. I have t-shirts that say it back when I was a college student. I'm not that old. I just graduated in 2012, just FYI, if you were wondering. But I literally live my life like this to this day. You know, it's funny because you realize when you don't even think about things, you know, like just being something simple as being in the bathroom and seeing a paper towel that's on the ground. This is pre-COVID. I'm talking about being in public. I would pick it up on my own. Now, you know, it's one of those things where you like ball up a paper towel and then grab that one and then rewash my hands and everything. But it's something small that you would think of that you wouldn't think of being such a big thing that's instilled within you, but it's still being something that is there. Living a life that matters. For me, like I said, I came out of a corporate role because I wanted to do something that was more gratifying and something that was reaching this next generation of leaders. And honestly, this is the actually do that from, because at the end of the day, without being able to discuss and talk to our students and get a chance to actually really talk to them and actually teach them how to be great leaders, what life isn't mattering at that point, because every life matters in those situations, and then living that life matters in that situation especially. Also, loving something greater than yourself. I mean, I'm not going to lie, there are very big changes that come from a corporate role to going into an administrative role within education. But honestly, I love this place, like I said, because it loved me at a time for myself when I didn't always love myself. So at the end of the day, I love Paul Quinn greater than I love myself, because at the end of the day, the we over me isn't just something that we instill in our students. It is something that we teach our students about, just not just saying that they're doing something, but also being it. Also, leaving places better than we found them. We were talking prior to the actual call beginning, and one of your counselors was actually speaking about the We Over Me farm. And that is something that we actually brought up in 2010. Our president decided that instead of actually having a football team, that we would revamp the whole football field into a farm, because that was in response to the community's need of a grocery store, as well as not having an actual grocery store within 5 miles of the actual campus. So it was responding to a food desert. Once again, leading from wherever we are, leaving places from better than we are, better than we found them, and then loving something greater than ourselves. I can say I was a part of the inaugural farm team. So back in 2010, I got a phone call on a nice hot May afternoon that President Sorrell decided that we were starting a farm, and that I wasn't actually moving out of the dormitory, that I would be staying, and wind up spending my summer here that summer, and got a chance to actually learn a little bit about farming, as well as had a chance to really just be a part of something that now everyone in the community basically knows us for. So that's just a little bit about our guiding principles. Now, as far as our campus life, at last year for the academic year, we were at 530 students. So our student campus life is coordinated by an office called SEAL. Now for us, it's the Center for Civic Engagement, Entrepreneurship, and Leadership, or SEAL, C-E-E-L. So basically this would be like a student affairs office, but we like to put our own spin on everything. So of course we have a different name for that other than student affairs. Also, we do have 46 student organizations, including fraternities and sororities. Now, all of those aren't actually active at this time, just due to the fact that there are some students that actually graduated out of these student organizations. But when they were actually all active, it was 46 of them. Just a few on the side, if you guys actually take a look at these pictures, these are some of the things that we actually did. Although we were in COVID times, we still had events for our students. So here we have one of the SEAL kickbacks. So basically it was a bi-weekly Zoom call where students got a chance to kind of get on Zoom with each other and just have a little bit of fun. Also, we had our pop-up with Prez, and that was basically every other Friday, he would do a pop-up on Instagram where he would kind of just talk to the students and talk to us and kind of just pop up and just have a chat with us. And then on the right, this was actually prior to us closing for COVID. This was actually one of our We Over Me farm stands that we actually had, where we had some radish, those are collards to the left, and then the radishes are in the middle. And then I think that was a part of, I can't honestly see what the picture is, but I do know for sure it was the collards and the radishes. And I got this picture from one of our farm team members, and I just realized that I don't know what the one on the right is, but I could definitely find out and let you guys know whenever I do actually figure that out. Next, our athletics. So we are a member of the NAIA Division I, or the Red River Athletics Conference, We are also a member of the United States Collegiate Athletic Association Division I, or USCAA for short. The programs that we actually offer at Paul Quinn, as far as athletic programs, are going to be basketball, cross country, soccer, track and field, and volleyball. Basketball and soccer, of course, are men's and women's sports. The fun thing about soccer, actually, the way it became an actual sport at Paul Quinn, is it was started by students because we believe that closed mouths don't get fed, and you are taught that. And we had a group of students that decided that they actually wanted to start a club soccer team. one of those student organizations. So they wound up doing really well in the club organization route. And so they actually winded up becoming a sponsored sport here at the college due to the fact that they wound up doing really well as, you know, it was one of those things where they spoke and they were heard, and literally our, you know, administration decided to go ahead and adopt that as an official sport of the college. So campus renovations and expansions. So this is probably some of the best parts of being a Quinnite at this time. Of course, we are now building our first new building in 40 years. So it's a really exciting time to be a Quinnite, just so many changes going on. I couldn't actually get a picture of the renovated chapel just due to the fact that that is limited access, especially being that that is that portion of the campus where we actually have our testing site. So it's kind of hard to keep people out of there, but then having someone to go in for actual pictures is two different things. So I was like, let me just leave that alone. We'll go ahead and we'll just go for the Trammell S. Crow Living and Learning Center, as well as the new Health and Wellness Center. So right here, you'll see the pictures of our new residence. So this is a part of, like I said, the Trammell S. Crow Living and Learning Center. That is actually going to be, typically the first floor is going to be all of the learning center portion of it. And then the second floor is going to be the living areas where our students will actually reside in the residence hall. Now, it's basically to be a bit of a dual study / living area. So basically students would have the opportunity to not only have a space to study within their residence hall, but also being able to just go downstairs and it'd be easy for them to access a study space. Right here to the right is going to be our new competition gymnasium. Basically, it's just what I said. It is our new gymnasium. We will still, of course, have our gymnasium that is closer to the We Over Me farm, but at this time, this will only be for actual games and any kind of you know, events that we host on campus, of course, with proper protection of the flooring once it actually gets laid down. And then lastly, my favorite part that was unveiled the spring of this year was actually our outdoor courts that have been renovated by the Dallas Mavericks. So of course you see the Dallas Maverick blue and you see the different courts and whatnot. We had brand new goals, brand new, you know, brand new cement work so that it's not as hot for the students, as well as we also are going to be having some awnings that are being put over so that even within bad weather situations, we're actually able to still have our students out there and play. At this time, no, unfortunately, students are not allowed on campus due to the fact that we are virtual and neither are members of the community, but hopefully we will be able to, you know, basically have those things ready for our students to play on and actually get a chance to enjoy because they were unveiled literally right before we shut down due to COVID-19. So our enrollment management team consists of myself, Tayler Henley, as well as my Director of Enrollment Management, Sean Witten. This is our contact information. I've also put my cell phone number, so if there are any questions that need to be answered or that you just have as I was actually talking and presenting, you can most definitely reach out via text message or phone call or email. Also, I did put my Instagram there so that you're able to follow me and kind of see what's going on at PQC and just kind of see what's coming from us as well as what is to come, as well as just kind of current events and what it is to be a Quinnite, honestly. And lastly, if you want to come to Paul, I want to thank you so much for having me. It's been great to actually be able to have my first virtual visit with a city that is actually near home for me, as well as just having a chance to be able to present. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me, to give me a call, because I am just a text, a phone call, whatever, email away, and I am definitely there to answer anything that you guys have questions in regards to. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Ms. Henley, could you talk about the affordability of Paul Quinn? I know I attended a conference about 2 years ago, and you all's president spoke, and he was bragging on how affordable Paul Quinn is, and all of your programs that you have available for students who are working or may not be traditional students. Even though we serve as high school students, I just think that would be something to definitely highlight given that money always comes up when you're speaking about college?
So typically I don't talk about the money portion with the students because they really honestly don't care about that portion. But at the end of the day, this is a great place for us to just go ahead and have that conversation. So we actually brought down our costs this year in response to COVID, just because at the end of the day, we knew that our students would be, at home, as well as they wouldn't actually be able to, have the same opportunities such as working on campus and having those jobs that actually pay in towards their actual tuition that they would normally have for their work program scholarships. So typically, our cost is right at $15,795. So basically, we're sitting at about $15,795. So basically, you take typically in a regular situation, a regular semester, you would take $5,000 off because that student would actually have that actual work program scholarship where they would receive, the $2,500 per semester. So mind you, that $15,795 is the actual cost per year. So you take that 5 off, so then you're sitting at about $10,795. Depending upon where the student sits financial aid wise, they could actually be receiving that full $6,200 almost from financial aid for that full Pell Grant student. Then you take that away. So students really honestly typically look from anywhere from about $1,700 to about $4,700 per year. So really and truly, it's a beautiful thing, honestly. And I'm kind of, jealous of these new age Quinnites, just because at the end of the day, they were able to not only graduate with minimal debt, but they were also able to graduate with work experience behind it all. So one of those things that, our students are actually able to boast about are most of them actually graduate with less than $10,000 in student debt, just because of at the end of the day, you have your work program scholarships. Then don't talk about if there's any honor scholarship money that's actually received from the institution, or any outside money that actually comes from external scholarships. Some of our students actually wind up applying for external scholarships and then actually wind up getting their external scholarships back, because then it winds up being something that their costs are covered, and then it winds up coming back to them in a refund. So it is a really beautiful thing. So just that was for if it was an on-campus living student, like full-time when we were 100% online. Then if we take a look at it from the standpoint of a student that may not actually live on campus and may be an off-campus student, then that cost is at about $10,900. So basically that student depended upon whether or not they actually were living on campus, basically takes away that living cost that is associated. And then typically, like I said, it is something that basically comes out of that cost from the, $6,200, if they're a full Pell Grant student, and then the rest would be borrowed if needed, or if they came with external scholarships that they then brought into the institution, it would go from there.
Thank you. I just thought that was really important to highlight. I know a lot of times our students don't think about the money portion, but we're really trying to change that mindset of, oh, just take out loans. It doesn't matter, because your credit matters once you graduate. So thank you for sharing that.
Definitely. No, at the end of the day, we want you to take out as least loans as possible. And we literally take the time out. Honestly, our financial aid office does a really good job of explaining everything that comes down to it when it comes to loans, what each means, and basically what students are actually looking at, because that's one of those things where, students just think about it from like, oh, what do I see coming back to me? But at the end of the day, you still have to pay it back. So that is something that I definitely understand, and, definitely glad that you asked the question, because, like I said, it is one of those things that if you are educating the students, that is something that we definitely want them to think about when it comes to cost, because that's a really big portion of our, our whole we over me ethos, is making sure that our students are set up for success, as well as not having the actual debt that comes from actually having a college education at the end of the day.
Thank you for that. Did anyone else have any questions before we ended the call?
Now, how long do you guys normally have the sessions, the college sessions? Like if the students go onto your website, that y'all have information sessions?
No, typically I honestly just ask them to go ahead and have me give me their contact information for their counselor. We don't have currently any online sessions that are available at this time, but we are working to get that changed and get that updated. We are currently in the process of doing some really big renovations to our website as well. So that is actually something that I recently asked about, is thinking about us actually having to where students can kind of have it on demand versus having to be actually a part of one of these sessions or watching a recorded session that I've done before.
Okay. Ms. Dewberry, did you have a question?
Well, when did you graduate from Paul Quinn?
I finished officially in the fall of 2011, but I actually walked in May of 2012.
I had a student that went there, Yasmin Garrett.
Yes, that's my I'm sorry. That is literally